Hello people, I'm Andrea and today I'm going to be guiding you into the fascinating world of population genetics. Let's go. Okay, so what is population genetics? Well, population genetics is the study of the distribution and change of allele frequency in a population's gene pool. No dictionaries yet. Alleles are any several forms of a gene that cause genetic variation. And heredity is the transferring of genetic characters from parent to offspring. Now, before we begin, I want you to understand two concepts: genotype and phenotype. Genotype is the genetic makeup of an organism with reference to one or more traits. Phenotype is the physical traits of an organism. Alright guys, so when we're talking about population genetics, there are two guys that we have to mention. They're called Hardy and Weinberg. So Hardy and Weinberg were two scientists that at the same time, though working separately, came up with the same equilibrium. We call it the Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium. Let's talk about the Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium. Well, the Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium is a principle stating that genetic variation will remain the same from one generation to the next if certain distributing factors are not present. Alright, let's get into the Hardy and Weinberg equation. Now the Hardy and Weinberg equation goes something like this. P squared plus 2pq plus q squared equals 1. Now P squared represents all homozygous dominant people in a population. 2pq equals all heterozygous people in a population. And of course q squared equals all homozygous recessive people in a population. Scratching your head yet? Yeah, alright, let's fix that. So, homozygous dominant basically means that on a certain chromosome, you have two dominant alleles. Homozygous recessive means the opposite, that on a certain chromosome, you have two recessive alleles. Heterozygous, however, means that you have one dominant and one recessive allele. The Hardy and Weinberg equation simply shows us the ratio of people in a population that are either homozygous dominant, homozygous recessive, or heterozygous. Okay. The Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium doesn't always work. Actually, it almost never works. As I said before, the Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium only works if certain factors are not present. These factors are natural selection, non-random mating, mutation, genetic flow, and genetic drift. And it only works in large populations. In short, this equilibrium will not work in real life. Why don't we talk about how genes actually do change now? Let's go! One of the factors that causes gene change is called natural selection. Natural selection is the process in nature by which the organism best suited to its environment is most likely to survive. It's like the Hunger Games out there. Ever heard of survival of the fittest? Yeah, that's where it comes from. So, Charles Darwin first explained this theory. Alright, let's have an example. Now we're in a village. And in this village, everyone is either over 6 feet or under 4 feet. Outside this village lives a tiger. Mr. Tiger loves to have these villagers as snacks. The taller people have a harder time finding hiding spots due to their height. Therefore, the tiger eats more tall people. Now there are more short people left in the village to pass on their traits. What I'm getting at is, over a couple generations, there are going to be a lot of short people in this village. Natural selection has occurred. Number 2, non-random mating. So non-random mating is where one pair of individuals has a higher chance of passing on their genes than another pair of individuals. In short, it's where we choose a mate based on certain traits, such as personality, appearance, intelligence. It's like if you're being asked to choose between Harry Styles and some other random guy. Yeah. Let's have an example. So we have this girl. She's trying to choose a Valentine. Obviously, she's going to go for the guy that she finds more desirable, whoever that should be, for whatever reasons. Non-random mating is occurring because she is choosing someone based on certain desirable traits. Non-random mating affects genetic variation because certain traits are more likely to be passed on than others. Alright, so for number 3, we have by far our easiest topic, mutation. Now hold on, I don't have to turn into Spider-Man to be a mutant. No, mutation is any change in genetic material. It can be something small, something big, it can positively affect me, it can negatively affect me. It's still mutation, so long as it is a change in genetic material. Let's go to an example, shall we? Alright, so say in my entire family tree, everyone has brown eyes. But for some reason, I was born with blue eyes. This is an example of mutation. Coming in for number 4, we have genetic drift. So genetic drift is a random change in a population's gene pool. Any change. Normally, it happens in small populations where it's easier for there to be one huge change in the gene pool. Last but not least, we have genetic flow. So genetic flow is any movement from one individual from one population to another population. It has a lot to do with immigration and emigration. In immigration, people from another population come in and spread their genes here, and in emigration, people leave to go spread their genes elsewhere. Alright guys, quick recap. So, population genetics is the study of the change in distribution and allele frequency in a population. Hardy and Weinberg are 2 scientists who came up with an equilibrium that shows us the ratio of homozygous dominant, homozygous recessive, and heterozygous people in an imaginary population. And through natural selection, non-random mating, mutation, genetic flow, and genetic drift, we have gene change. I hope you all learned something. Take care. Adios. See ya.